Take one.
Take one.
Set. We had an intro, but I forgot the intro.
Welcome to DIY Artist Talks. My name is Dani Antal.
My name is Moanzy.
Yes. And we're in this podcast we're talking about all the stuff that comes with being a DIY artist, whether it's a musician or a maker in any other way.
Correct.
And today we decided to talk about social media.
We're gonna cut the pie. We're gonna cut the pie of social media. Social media day.
Yeah.
I want to start with a very essential question. That is, do you think it is essential for an artist of this day and age to have social media?
Wow. Yeah, I think that's a good question.
I know.
I feel like there's definitely a narrative and a way of thinking where we are all convinced that it is necessary to be on social media if you are a creative. And I think for a long time I also believed it. Mm-hmm. There's definitely stuff to gain from being on social media. There's definitely some opportunities that arose thanks to social media. So I wouldn't, at this point, I'm not really able to envision my career as a musician, as a DIY musician without social media. But
what are the pros and cons? Can you name some pros and cons?
I think pros are definitely that you are connected to more and more people. You can also get inspired by other people who do things that are similar to you. But I think there's lots of cons as well. You know, it's addictive. There's more and more science that seems to be proving that it's even like as bad for you as smoking cigarettes or something. I'm not sure if I 100% like believe it all, but it does get me thinking a lot. I think the addictive part is definitely a problem for me, and also I really easily get into this mode where I just compare myself to others, and then I will never be good enough because everyone has everything that I don't have. Yeah,
100%. I mean, I have the same fear. It's like getting like sensory overload of like watching all these other creators make an amazing content, and it's amazing that they do so. And but I mean, if I could bounce the question back to myself, if social media is essential for an artist in this day and age, I always have said yes. Always when people ask me, it's like you have to be representable. Yeah. You want people to follow you.
It's definitely like you are an example in my direct circle of people that was a big advocate of being on social media. And thanks to you, I started like being more productive on social media. Mm-hmm. So it's I was kind of surprised that out of all people, you were the one that is now starting to question whether or not you should be on social media. Because for the record, that's what Moanzy started to ask himself. It's like, should I stay on social media or not? And I thought that's a pretty interesting
that's definitely true. I mean, it's just that I get depressed by watching too many other musicians release quality content.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not to all the amazing people who make amazing content. It's really amazing that you do so. But just seeing video after video of high quality makes it's like stress inducing that you're not doing enough.
Exactly.
And this, I was picturing myself a world where there wasn't social media, where there isn't social media that you have to think of. And I was just relieved. I mean, imagine the pressure of representing yourself online is gone.
Yeah.
Because the person you are online is not the person you are in real life too.
No.
Because you have to kind of like follow certain rules, certain standards, certain angles, certain quality
strategies as well.
You know, I need to buy a road. I need to buy 2 phones. You know, and that's also sometimes hard to start with. What do you need to record something? And more, I am enjoying things that are live. Yeah. You know, like for example, I used to buy a lot of plugins for music software, But now I just love to record my guitar on my phone. And just use the guitar in my production because it sounds more real, you know. Yeah. So I'm getting to real things. The thing that makes me happy, like having a conversation with you, makes me happy. But having a conversation with someone online makes me like, you know. So that's why I was asking you the question because I mean, yes, I think we need it.
Yeah, you're saying a lot of like really insightful things actually, and especially like imagine a world where there wasn't any social media. I mean, and you say you feel relieved. I think everyone feels relieved, like whether you are just a user or someone like. There's no one in the world that is really genuinely happy with social media, and I feel like there's definitely a lot more noise about social media lately. A lot more people quitting anyway. So.
Wasn't there a country? Wasn't it Australia who said social media under the age of 16 or 18 is banned?
Either Australia or New Zealand did it.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah. I mean, I wish I was under the age of 18 then.
yeah.
You know,
I mean, imagine if you're like we're already a little bit older and we still lived in a time where there weren't any smartphones. But imagine being young right now and you have to like, you know. Because it's not just, you know, you're saying a lot about seeing, for instance, the high quality content of creators and stuff, and I do get how you get like stressed out about it. I do too as well. Like especially when I'm not in the greatest of moods, I'm like, I'm not this productive, and I will never reach this quality. But what even gets me down more is like non-musical stuff. You know, like especially when it's news related, like it does find its way into in my feed at least, and you see like people with different worldviews and stuff, and sometimes it can be quite disturbing. And you know, after an hour of scrolling, you can get like
whole hour.
I mean, sometimes it happens.
No, fair.
Yeah, I'm not proud of it, but I think we all can relate. And then sometimes you're done scrolling and you're like, fuck, now my whole world view is super grim. And sometimes
I mean, we have to have an opinion on everything.
That's true.
That's what sucks. Because you don't have to have an opinion on everything.
No, exactly.
There's so many people who just like, I mean, we were talking about social media banned, and also we grew up without social media at one point. But I just want to highlight that it was very beautiful in the beginning of having Facebook. I think it was a beautiful time. You know, I saw everyone connecting to their long lost friends, like overseas, saying hello. Cool. It was pretty nice at the beginning. I was, and then the memes, sharing memes with my friends. But now it is turned into this kind of like toxic waste of too much exaggerated. What's the word? Not exaggerated.
Definitely
content that is it's kind of like too much.
And it's also like there's always more and more. There seems to be an agenda behind it. It's being used more and more. I mean, at the beginning it was kind of like still fun, but now it's like it was always now marketing. I mean, I don't know if it started. I don't think it started as a marketing tool, but it became a marketing tool, and now it's even more than a marketing tool. Now it's just a soul sucking tool. It's like by being on it, you're just contributing to like so many people that have such messed up views about the world and such messed up intentions of what they want to do with these technologies. So even with that rhetoric, it's just like shouldn't be. You shouldn't be on it. That's it. Like there's no good reason to be on it. I mean, like I feel like this conversation is going to like
100% social media usage. As in social media in general. But that's why I wanted to ask you.
Well, because I think social media usage in general comes down to using either one of the few platforms that is out there, and all of them don't have any good intentions. Like I think there's more and more social media platforms upcoming. There's more and more people starting to build their own platforms with a different philosophy. And I'm predicting that in the future, people will migrate from bigger platforms, from Meta and TikTok, to smaller platforms that are more in line with what they think is right. And I think that's an improvement. I think also more and more people are just going to be like, nah, screw this, I'm out. Like, I think the whole analog reinvention, we're all kind of feeling nostalgic to the 90s and stuff, and I think that's for a reason as well.
I think it might be fun if you switch over to another platform that is more local based. But I wanted to ask you, if you choose not to use social media as a musician in this time, how would you go about it? Like, if you don't use it, you have so much time extra. What will you use the time for?
Well, that's the thing. Like, there's on one hand, I'm like, how am I going to make myself visible then?
Yeah, right.
So I get also a little bit like slightly panicked by the idea of not being connected. But then again, it's also something that I said earlier this year. Is like, I do want to focus a little bit more on my direct, surroundings. Instead of on this online realm trying to reach people from all over the world, or it just doesn't make any sense. And for instance, if I look at like how much I posted, for instance, this week, I hardly posted anything because I don't have any time or energy to work on it. Right. So I can't seem to even like maintain a certain consistency. And they say like, if you want to break through on social media, then consistency is really important.
Consistency.
And I have proven over and over again that I'm just not capable of doing so. Not because I'm not good enough, but just because there's already so much stuff getting in the way. Like, if I can like spend all my time making good content on social media, but then when am I going to finish, for instance, the mix of my latest single? I would not have been able to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I try to combine the two
part.
things, but it's like the creating part is, for me, it's more important. So 100%. In a way, I'm already sometimes, I have these periods where I'm already way less online. I deleted the app from my phone, so I don't have that much scrolling time anymore.
Fair.
I try to use it with a little bit more intention. I just go on there to post something, check some stuff out, and then try and leave, and it doesn't always work like that. And I feel like if you want to make yourself known, you have to start playing, because I think that is how, in the history of musicians, playing live has always been the most effective way. There was even a time not that long ago that there wasn't any recorded music out there, and definitely wasn't able to all the musicians out there. Like these days, everyone can record music, but for the longest time, nobody really could. So you just had to like grab your instrument and just walk around on fucking planet Earth and fucking see people face to face and share your music with them. That's how you did it, and I think
somehow these old systems would still work in this time.
I think it would still work. It's just that
go out there.
I think you have to really think it through a little bit more than you used to, because people are used to like, give me a QR code or something I can scan so I can go to your platform. And I think if you replace that with something, you have to be able to, every time you go to a place, I think you have to give them something they can hold in their hands.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Just before we started recording, we were already talking about these topics, and I said, well, if there's not a QR code with like, follow me on this, there is you can buy my CD,
for instance.
Right, there is like, I'm not on social media, but if you really enjoyed what I did, you can buy something physically. And I mean, in my thought process, social media was a tool that would make it possible to earn income from at one point. Right? Or like sponsored deals, or maybe advertisements, or anything that because you have a big reach, maybe you can sell tickets, maybe you can sell merchandise. So it was a tool for me that I think I should take effort in it, because it's an investment, right? A time investment. But if you put that away and you don't put time into building a platform, but you put time in like immediately start selling your merch or your tickets or face to face. I mean, you already get what you were building for, I guess. If that makes sense. It's a bit
you kind of cut the middle guy.
You cut the middle guy, exactly.
In some way.
I mean, of course, I think
your reach is way less.
Yeah, but I think it will sell
maybe,
more.
Yeah.
Because from all my 8,000 followers, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm making this show in April. I mean, from this 8,000 followers, they are worldwide, right? So in my show in Amsterdam, maybe, I don't know, 50? I already find it high would come to the show.
Yeah.
So 50 to 8,000, you know, it's like, it's nothing. So
it is nothing.
You know, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting question.
It's a very interesting question, and I'm really glad that even you, you know, because we started making
social media
together.
lord,
the social media overlord in my book. Is now thinking about, hey, is this still the right thing to do?
Yeah,
and I've been questioning this for a long time.
Same.
And I think almost everyone I know has this huge, like, pretty much hateful relationship with social media anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's just like every time I see, and lately I see this a lot, like people really post like a last post on Instagram and then they leave, you know, and they really say like, yeah, I can't do this anymore.
I haven't seen them in a long time though, but I have seen
people do it a lot, you know, and also like artists that I really am a big fan of that are leaving Spotify and stuff. Like people are really making a point out of this, and I'm feeling really inspired by it to also do it as well, because
there has to be another way.
You're contributing to a platform that is built to keep you on there for an endless amount of time, to keep
you are
addicted.
their product.
Yes,
you know.
So and like
machine.
The only way this would work, in my advantage, is if I figure out a way to not be so addicted to the platform myself, to just be the one who posts and not consume anything of it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't even feel right. So, all right, I want all the other people to watch my content, but in order to do so, they have to like scroll endlessly to maybe fly back past it. Yeah. And then I'm just going to say like, yo, I'm not watching your stuff anymore because I don't want to be contributing to this addictive platform. So then why am I on there on the first place?
No, I hear you, man.
It's just not an ethically. There's so many things wrong with this, you know. And then we're not even talking about all the stuff that the ones that control these platforms are doing, like horrible things to certain groups of people. They're excluding people. You know, they're guiding misinformation. Like there's so much going on in the world.
100% as well. I mean, so much to carry.
Why are we still? Actually, the question is, why are we having this conversation?
Yeah, why are we having this conversation?
What are we doing here?
That's right.
Yeah, because there's just
this is a call for artists to get out of social media. It's a trap.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, but I hear what you say, and I mean, I'm not gonna like make a decision in a week or a month or maybe even a year, but it is definitely a question to think about, the true one, and I hope that the answer will come in like the answer of like a local platform or more like caring platform, or I mean switching platforms. I don't know if that's also the answer to like oh, I'm gonna leave social media just to go to another platform. Like
that doesn't seem right.
No,
I think it's definitely if you leave social media, definitely. So I think it's good to really think about it.
Yeah.
Especially when you're an artist and you're looking for, because you're also looking for exposure.
Yeah.
You know, that's why we got on it for the first place. So you really have to think about like, how am I getting my exposure? And especially how am I getting the exposure that I'm losing because of this platform, you know? And there's options, you know, I see a lot of people trying to get the whole email list going on.
Oh, email list. Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure about that either. Like, how would that work for email me? List. You know, how would I go about it? But it's definitely something that I'm seriously considering.
Yeah. I mean, what if you would like? I mean, it sounds maybe a bit too much, but if you skip social media, do you keep like WhatsApp or Messenger apps, right? Because that's not social media, right?
I mean, yeah, but okay. So say, I think we're both mostly focused on Instagram.
Yeah.
At least I am. Yeah. So I would lose Instagram.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of like, here's also like a little bit of that's Meta.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, then I'm still on Facebook. What do I do with my Facebook?
Yeah.
I don't use it, like hardly use it anyway, but you know, maybe I should go from Facebook as well. Okay.
Yeah.
But then WhatsApp becomes bigger problem.
I mean, it's
for me
also
because
meta.
my job is on WhatsApp as well.
Yeah.
Like there's lots of groups.
Yeah.
Open mic groups and all that stuff.
100%.
And I mean, there's alternatives to that as well.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I try to push people to go to Signal and stuff, but it's really hard. I'm, you know, my hands are tied. I have to stay on WhatsApp.
But just to go to the core question, should an artist use social media? And if you say the answer is no, what does social media means? Like, are you saying Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all these platforms have to go, but you would still use messenger apps like WhatsApp, right? As an artist, just to, because how would you then? Yeah, how would you connect?
I mean, like ideally,
right?
I would find a
you need
more
to keep
ethical
something.
way to to keep. So either I would go to a platform that doesn't have all these issues and just keep going there.
Yeah. Okay.
But also, I think it's almost impossible to just like create a platform with short form videos and not make it like this endless addictive carousel.
Yeah,
I think the concept of this is just unethical, to say the least. So I think the way that we are looking at social media right now has to drastically change. And I think we would all actually be better off, and that's idealistic. I think we all would be better off if we would not have any of it for a while, and maybe even like train our minds to focus on something longer than 15 seconds, you know? And then maybe start like sharing content that is like, you know, 3 minutes long to kind of like ease into it again or something. Like,
I'm happy to hear your full undilated answers about social media.
That's at least my take on it. But
it has been on your mind. I can hear.
Definitely, yeah. It's definitely.
It's interesting. It's interesting. I want to cut another slice of this cake as the last question, and that is, what language would you use on social media?
Yeah, we talked about this before. So we're both Dutch.
Yeah.
We're actually in our hometown right now, pretty much. Amsterdam. So whenever we just, you know, set this whole shoot up, we're just speaking Dutch to each other. So, you know, because we're both from here, and we're Dutch musicians.
And then the camera goes on, and it's like...
And then all of a sudden we're these...
international hotshots.
Native English speakers. No, but it's crazy. And I think you raised an interesting question. Like, why do you automatically switch to English? You know, and I think it's in line with the fact that, well, obviously your followers are not just Dutch, so it wouldn't make sense to just be speaking Dutch. But right now we're recording this in a Dutch environment, you know. Everywhere we go, people speak Dutch, and we're not playing. I'm not playing outside of the country that much as you are. You are doing it a bit more often.
Yeah.
I think the algorithm doesn't really like shoot this all across the world anyway. It does try to keep it in its own region.
Yeah, no, 100%. I once heard that the moment you create a TikTok account, it will look at your SIM card. And it will trace where you're at, right? So and then it knows which people it should attract to.
Yeah.
So the moment I made my first TikToks, I was doing it in English, but I would only get Dutch replies.
Right.
And I felt like such a fraud, right? If everyone who listens and sees my TikToks replies in Dutch, why am I making it in English?
Exactly, right? Yeah, because that's the thing. Like I was saying before, that it's always a bit cringy to kind of see yourself speak English to the camera.
Yeah.
When it's obviously not your first language, and you're just kind of like trying to reach people outside of your bubble and all across the world, because that's kind of the idea that social media sells you. Like, you can be connected to everyone. I mean, there's good reasons why we do it in English, because also we have a lot of musician friends that aren't Dutch.
True.
So
I mean,
we are pretty used to not speaking our own language among our own friends that are also here locally.
Would you think you would lose followers if you start mixing some Dutch content in your normal content? Like, I'm not saying fully go to Dutch content, but just like sometimes make it a Dutch video. Because that's what you're afraid of, right?
Also, yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. And if I think of it rationally, I can only go with a gut feeling, but I don't really feel like it would make that much impact. I mean, sometimes I do. Like sometimes I do specific Dutch stuff. You know, when I know that I'm playing in this Dutch venue, and they're also communicating in Dutch, then I'm like, yeah, why not go with it and stuff. So, you know, it's definitely. And also, I have a few songs that are in Dutch. So, yeah. I don't think it would impact me that much, actually.
I'm just curious. Just a question to anybody who sees this: would you still watch this podcast if you're not natively Dutch, but there are subtitles?
Yeah, it's a good one.
You know, if someone sees this and wants to reply on this, then I would really like to know your opinion.
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
I gotta say though, like my feeling is,
I mean, as long as there's subtitles.
Yeah, sure, but like we want to maybe invite guests to future episodes.
Yeah.
And they're mostly not Dutch.
100%.
So then for this podcast, it does make sense to keep it in English.
Yeah.
But
like imagine we have a nice Dutch guy.
Yeah.
I mean, then we have 3 Dutch guys talking in English. I mean,
that's true. Yeah.
I'm just saying, you know.
I mean, we could definitely experiment it. So maybe we should like post this with a poll underneath it. And if everyone's 100%. Like do it in Dutch, then we'll make a Dutch episode with another Dutch musician.
Because I've seen YouTube videos automatically dubbed in English from like different languages. We are at this point where AI can read or like listen to a video and translate it in any language. Like dubbing, because I've seen. So I think, I mean, of course, if you live in the Netherlands, your English is almost as good as your Dutch, I guess. So for us, it doesn't really change much, but it would be fun to see how a conversation would be if it would be in Dutch.
Yeah, it would be better though.
I mean,
we have to think a lot about what I say more than I in my own language. So like,
it would I definitely. I mean, this is all an experience anyway, so it will be fun to. I will be down to try it in Dutch, and I hope if anybody wants to reply, if you want to hear a Dutch episode, it will be very fun for me. But I would also want to know for the ones who's watching. So I think that was the question for the language we use on social media.
I think it's kind of slowly time to wrap it up.
I
think we can leave it open. We definitely haven't decided yet. And I feel like.
But this is a yes/no question. Social media essential for an artist of this time, day and age.
In this day and age.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
I have to think about it. Yeah.
Yes or no?
I want to be optimistic here and say no.
Okay.
I think you can do without it, but you have to be really smart about it. So no.
Okay.
What do you think?
I am still on the yes side, but you know, it is essential.
It's not surprising though. I mean, it's already a big
it's a big thing for me. I'm
difference
also now,
from where you were a year ago.
100%. I even think I'm even having 2 sides that say go all the way, you know, like soak up all this social media or drop it all. It's like I feel in this kind of
what is it?
Red pill, blue pill.
Defeat it or delete it.
That's where I'm at.
That's pretty much it.
But I wish there was a nice alternative. That's why I like meeting you and talking about the topics. Because then hopefully there you give me some insights. I'm like, oh, maybe I could ditch it all. Because I would say no, but it is yes.
I'm also like very curious who gets to see this video and makes it to this part of the video. If you did, then you're a legend. And if you have something to say about this, you probably will, then please let us know, because I would 100%. Love to know all the insights that I can get 100%. About this topic.
Yeah, we want to learn more. That's why we do this podcast.
That's why we're doing this.
100%.
So, and maybe next time we'll have a guest with us.
Yes.
One of our local friends might join us.
And, any closing statements?
Closing statements. You know, stay healthy, man.
Stay healthy.
You know, 20 minutes a day. There's apps that can control your social media usage. Use them. There's timers you can buy. Actually, now we're going. So closing remarks. Maybe we can talk about this in another podcast.
Sure.
There's a lot of tools you can use for free, but also like a lot of gadgets that you can buy to prevent yourself from getting into this loophole of endless scrolling.
I love it.
There's things you can do, and the best thing you can do is to train your mind.
Well, thank you so much. This was DIY Artist Talks.
DIY Artist
with,
Talks.
Your two hosts, Moanzy
and Dani Antal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And a quick word to all our sponsors. Oh, wait, that was not that sponsor.
Yeah.
Never mind.
The coffee. We celebrate flavors.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for the coffee. We paid for it though.
Yeah, so it's not a sponsor then.
It's not a sponsor.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a sponsor in a new video. Good. Let's see.